Alrighty, here we go.
Absolutely.
Episode 2.
Feeling good, feeling strong.
You know what we gotta remember to do this time?
What?
You know.
No, I'd say the name of the show?
Yeah.
Welcome one, welcome all to the CORNERMEN podcast.
That's right, the CORNERMEN podcast. We did forget to say the name at the beginning of the first episode last week, but that's okay. We learned from our mistakes.
We wanted to make sure you guys were hooked, before we gave you the name. We didn't want to, lead you in on it too early, We didn't want you too invested. Listen to the show, then you'll get the name. CORNERMEN podcast. We're the CORNERMEN, I guess.
Yeah. You can follow our Instagram too.
Sure.
The CORNERMEN podcast.
Do the plug early. I think drop the.
That's right. There's no the. It's a natural habit to say the.
It's okay to say the CORNERMEN podcast, but on all of our handles it is CORNERMEN podcast. So we'll plug ourselves early, CORNERMEN podcast.
There you go. Plugs out of the way.
Anyways, I haven't seen you in, I think, 48 hours. I didn't see you at all yesterday.
No, I was already in bed by the time you got home from the late shift yesterday. And it was pretty good. I mean, work's work every day, Learn something new. How about you? Anything new and exciting?
Oh, man. Exciting.
Man.
Well, definitely exciting stuff because we were covering a lot of the hockey talk today at work. That was kind of the talk around the office. But, I've just been busy, working these late shifts, staying up late. But, it's not too bad. We've been going well.
At least you get your mornings.
I do get my mornings, but I'm so busy in the mornings now. I don't have a second to, sit down.
Just get all your stuff done.
Up early. Yeah, I don't start work till 2 p.m. You'd think I have a lot to do.
Yeah.
But I leave the house at 1 because I got to get on the bus. Start getting ready to pack my stuff at 12:30. I eat at 11:30. Just giving you my whole morning routine here, but
eat the people want to know.
Eat at 11:30. I shower at 11 because I work out before that and I do cardio before that. And before that, I got to edit stuff for this podcast, post stuff on YouTube. So I'm doing stuff all morning. I wake up at 7. I get my coffee and I start editing. So
yeah, I usually hear your alarm because I'm usually up. I'm usually up a half hour before you. So I usually hear the alarm because that's a loud alarm.
One of my many alarms.
Yes, that's right. All right, well, we got a decent sport week ahead of us. Nothing really too crazy, but, there's the free agency, which has just been crazy. But
today was an insane day in hockey, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because we spent a lot of time on hockey last week.
Yeah.
But let's just blow through it. Today is the day of free agency. Free agency opened up today, so there's a lot to talk about. But I'll just bang through some stuff. I'll get your opinion. Evgeny Malkin was one of the big holdouts this year. After Letang signed with Pittsburgh, everybody was like, okay, there's one of your big guys. What about the other guy? Elephant in the room, Malkin, the big Russian elephant sitting in the room. He believed he was not being treated with the respect of a legacy player by the Pittsburgh organization when he wasn't being offered these deals. Sidney Crosby came to his home, I think in Florida or something like that.
Not in Pittsburgh.
No, Gino's got a house in Florida because, that's how he rolls. But
yeah,
he went to Gino's house in Florida, and I guess he talked to him. He ended up signing 4 years with the Penguins, 6.1 AAV, cap hit every year. That's a good deal. I think that's a good deal for Malkin.
I think that's a good deal for Pittsburgh.
That is a good deal for Pittsburgh. Malkin's older, and he hasn't played a full 82-game season in a long time. That's no question. He's not the player he used to be.
Yeah, age will do that to you.
Yeah.
But it's what's his year this year in the NHL? It'll be 15 years.
I don't know. A lot.
It's got to be something like that.
And he's put in a considerable amount of time, good time, playing hard with the boys, big playoff runs, super important player for Pittsburgh. So
a couple rings.
So all respect to him. He deserved to get paid.
Yep.
6.1, just over $6 million. That's a pretty good deal for him.
Yeah, for 4 years, I think that's a retirement contract too.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that runs out at your third year. You maybe have a fourth year option.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
And so we'll head over to Chicago, where it's the dumpster fire of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
They're not getting anything in return for these players, which is ridiculous. And Craig Button, TSN, whatever, he says that there is, quote, I'm quoting a man who should not be quoted, because Craig Button, he's a cool guy, but he's a bit goofy. Quote, Craig Button, there is, quote, not a chance Patrick Kane sticks with the Blackhawks through all this craziness. But Most insiders are saying that most likely we're going to get an in-season trade from Patrick Kane. We're not going to lose him before the season starts.
Yeah, and I had heard a little early too, because I think this dumpster fire is self-inflicted, obviously. They want to rebuild, but the problem that, like you mentioned, they're not getting any rebuild in return. They're not getting many picks. They're not getting many young guys. They said somewhere that they'd be okay with 20-year-olds only on the team for a while. But you have to have some draft picks. You have to have something in there to help you in the next couple of years, and that's why I think Kane's going to wait to see what they can do, because he just likes the city.
Yeah, well, he's been there so long,
yeah,
right?
I think you're just doing an honorable job staying there until the season starts, and then you can say, look, we're going to go our separate ways. So
I think Patrick Kane on a different team, on like a Boston or something like that, I think he's a game changer.
He still has like a good couple of years left in him.
Absolutely.
Like, that's a good couple of years.
Yeah, so we'll keep going because we don't want to linger. Philip Forsberg for the Predators, he signed $8.5 million for 8 years. That's incredible. That is a great deal for him. He's 27 years old, 84 points, 42 goals in 69 games last season. That's a great stat line.
Sure.
But it kind of upset me, this signing, because Forsberg teased earlier, like maybe a month ago, that he was in Ottawa. Mm-hmm. And some people were saying like, oh my God, he's going to sign with Ottawa. The dude with the mustache. Philip Forsberg, he's coming to the capital of Canada, baby. And, that's my team. We're Ottawa boys, but or at least I am. But
yeah,
that would have been crazy. I think he was in town for a wedding or something.
Okay.
But anyways.
I mean, good for him. That's a long contract for somebody his age. Like, I mean, not really, but oh man,
I think that's a good
Preds
deal.
too. Like, there's a couple years in there where they can better themselves, maybe make a playoff run. Hopefully, in 8 years, you got to hope that he's going to be leading a franchise in the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, they got good defense on the back with Yossi. Now they have good goaltending again. They went from Pekka Rinne, their like franchise goaltender, whose number is going to be retired for them. Now they have Jussi Saros in net, who's like looking like a stud, man. If he was healthy, they would have at least had a win in the playoffs. You'd think that they got swept in the playoffs. You'd think they'd at least win a game.
I mean, I would have hoped they would have won a game, but I wouldn't put money on it that he would have won that many games. But a couple of years for them to hopefully make it deeper into the playoffs. So good for him. Franchise guy now.
Somehow Nashville has become a hockey town.
Somehow.
I don't know, but hey, I like it. Yeah. Keeping going. The Bruins are talking to Pasternak right now about contract extensions. And GM Don Sweeney wants to make Pasta a Bruin for life, which is like, okay, who wouldn't want that? He's a great guy, great player. Right now he's on the last year of a $6.6 million, very team-friendly contract. Yeah. So he's going to want some dough.
Yeah, you want him to be a Bruin for life. And even if he wants that, but his last contract, like you said, 6.6. On how many years was that contract, do you know?
I don't know, long. Not that long. Like, it was more of a bridge, I guess. But
so he's going to want an extra $2 million
he's
on
gonna
top
want,
of that?
He's going to want north of... Well, you saw how much Philip Forsberg got paid, 8.5. He's going to want more than that.
You think he's going to want more than that? Well, I know everybody wants more than that, but I don't know if he'll get more than that.
I think absolutely David Pasternak will get more than that.
All right, well, good for him. Whether he stays in Boston, free agency's a long time. So.
Yeah, he's still got a year on the contract. I mean, they want to make a deal before that contract's up because then, I mean, if they lose David Pasternak without even being able to trade him, I know the Bruins are getting older. They don't know how many more runs they have left in them. Maybe it's best to trade away guys like David Pasternak who are still young and then get picks from it and then rebuild. But
because that's what I was thinking, is a team like Boston, you're heading towards a rebuild shortly.
No, they're not. They're going for that. I'm a Bruins boy, too.
You're heading... The next couple of years, you're going to have to make some drastic changes.
I think they got 1 or 2 more good years in them, and then they're going to have to retool, or like you said, they're going to have to, boom, cut it.
So do you want a guy on there for that long with that much money? Maybe so. But we'll keep it going. You let us know what you think.
Yeah, exactly. If you think David Pasternak's a lifetime Bruin, great. I'd love to see that as a Bruins fan. Braden Holtby, goaltender, not going to be playing. People think it's going to be the end of his career. That's okay. That's he had a long career. He won a cup with the Capitals. Yep. Good goaltender. Been tossed around the league a bit.
All I heard was it was lower body.
Yeah.
That's all I heard. Anything else, I have no idea what's going on. But, I mean, you never want to see a guy's career end that way, unfortunately, especially a goalie like that who's had a good career coming off a couple years with the Caps and a cup. So, very sad, but wish him the best.
Yeah, I got a couple more goalies to touch on quick.
Oh, yeah.
John Gibson, goalie for the Ducks. He's kind of being shopped around by Anaheim right now. Like, he's a fantastic goaltender. Like, I'm talking elite in the league. He may not look like it on a team like Anaheim that frankly sucks. But, they're on the come up too. I like the way the Anaheim Ducks are looking. And I just thought it was hilarious that John Gibson's agent said that he has, and this is another quote, I'm just tossing these air quotes around, but his agent said he has, quote, absolutely no interest, end quote, in playing for the Leafs, which I just thought was really funny.
Why would you?
This was before the Leafs made their goaltender signing, which we'll get into right now. Matt Murray, Ottawa Senator, is now a Toronto Maple Leaf. Got signed. He's got 2 years left on a $6.25 million contract. Boom, out of Ottawa. Get rid of that cap hit. Send him straight to the T-dot.
That's not a good spot for him.
He got the pressure from the media in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure from the media in Toronto, buddy.
You're going to break because if you can't, and the expectations in Ottawa were like mediocre at best.
They were frankly bad.
We want you to win a couple games and maybe come into maybe I think the biggest people that had the highest expectations was like maybe itch at a wild card, maybe. So for him going to the Leafs where they're expecting you to make the playoffs and then go in a couple rounds, good luck, brother.
Well, with Campbell gone, like they want him to be the starter. They want him to be the starter.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But again, this is just I see the Leafs again is going sideways. I don't see this playing out for them. But
yeah.
Hey, good luck to him. Wish him the best. He didn't do us much good in Ottawa, but go get him.
He didn't do us much good. Okay, another team that's filling out their goaltending tandem is the Avalanche, who lost Darcy Kemper. We'll touch on that soon, but filling that role of Darcy Kemper, I am not sure if it's going to be Francouz, but they signed Georgiev, who we talked about this last week. He left the Rangers because he wants to be like the main man, I guess, and they got Shesterkin now. They got Igor over there. So he leaves New York. He's headed towards the Avalanche, signed for $3.4 million for 3 years. That's a pretty good deal, and a tandem of Gio and Francouz. That's a pretty solid tandem, I guess. Francouz performed great in the playoff games that he had to this year, but is that a good enough goaltending tandem to go back-to-back? I don't know. I think
Colorado's mindset is look at the guys we have in front of him that can keep the puck away from him. But, I mean, we saw how when they went on the run this year that you need that goalie when you need him. Like, you can't really – you can't play the cards, okay, we'll keep the puck away from him and only let him have 20, 25 shots a game and hope that's the best. Again, that's interesting because he'll get what he wants. I think he'll be the star goaltender in Colorado. I'm going to say that. I don't want to say for sure, but he'll get what he wants, I think. And it's a friendly contract for the Avs. It's an okay contract for him.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm wishing him the best. But like you said, is it enough to bring them back to where they were this year? We'll see. Time will tell. See. But that's interesting. That's a big hit for the Avs.
Just a little funny story because we were talking about David Pastrnak earlier. Pasta was playing with David Krejci for the World Championships after the playoffs were done, or I guess kind of during the playoffs. And I guess he was trying to convince David Krejci. We're jumping all over the place. My bad. My notes are crazy, but trying to convince David Krejci to come back to the NHL and join with the Bruins. So I guess there's some rumors talking about that right now. I don't know if he's really going to come back. I think he'd be a good fit, obviously. Like, he knows the boys. That'd be a good little team up there.
For that last 2 years before the rebuild.
For the last 2 years. Honestly, yeah.
For real.
The Oilers lock up Evander Kane.
This is a big contract.
Wow. 4 years, 5.125 AAV. That's pretty crazy because Evander Kane in the locker room is known as a liability.
I mean, look what happened to end him up in Edmonton to begin with. He was pretty much playing for nothing. Well, he was playing for not a lot of money at all in Edmonton. And, not known to be the greatest team guy. But when you put a playoff performance like he did, that speaks more maybe for what you are in the locker room.
He has value on the ice.
Yeah.
And he may not be good in the locker room, but he's even worse in the bedroom. Okay, next up, we're going Jack Campbell headed towards the Oilers. $5 million for 5 years, 5x5 contract in Edmonton. If Jack Campbell performs in Edmonton like he performed in Toronto this year, like at the peak of his performance, my God, like the Oilers are set.
So we talked about this a little bit on the last episode that Smith had a good run, but he wasn't the guy that took them to that extra level. This is scary because this is a guy that will take them to that next level. And this pretty much matches them with Colorado. Well, it did with Colorado's last goalie, but this pretty much matches them. Like, this is a good one-on-one matchup. If they were to replay the Stanley Cup playoffs, if they were to match up, that's a scary matchup.
Like, I do think that kind of solidifies them. If they can get another defenseman or they can, like, prove that their defense is ready to go, I think that shows that the Oilers can really be that top team in the West. Yeah, I can see them pushing for the Stanley Cup Finals, definitely.
I think that's crazy that they were able to work that out. It's honestly, it's not the worst contract that I thought either. Like, I thought Jack, he might take up a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But but I think he wanted to go to a team where, again, the pressure to performing is still there, but it's not like Toronto.
Well, Toronto's the biggest one.
Yeah,
right?
like I just think he's like, I need to get out of here to perform because my mental state is not even on hockey. It's about, will I be the number one most wanted human being in Toronto the next day?
Everything is a step down, like, in terms of pressure from Toronto. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Senators, speaking of goalies, Senators and Wild trade their goalies 1-for-1 with each other, which love it.
Sure.
That's such a fun deal when you get to read that on Twitter. It's like they trade their goalies 1-for-1. That's so cool. So Goodbranson, 24-year-old goalie for Ottawa. He played a couple games last season. Good young goalie gets traded to the Wild. Going to be backing up Marc-Andre Fleury. And Cam Talbot, Ottawa Senator, new starter, baby.
Both teams win in this trade.
I think so.
Both teams win, and thank you to Pierre Dorian for maybe, I don't know if it was him that made this happen, but thanks for whoever made this happen because, and Forsberg will finally have a little bit of consistency, I think, with those two goalies. He's not going to be worrying about fighting for a job. He knows he has a job. And whether they ride hot hand goalies or whether they go 1-1, I don't know what they're going to do to start the season. But I think both guys will be happy. So
yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think that puts Anton Forsberg, like, I think that puts Forsberg's mind at ease, you know?
Yeah.
He knows, like, okay, maybe Cam Talbot here is more experienced, 34 years old, like, or 35. He's a good guy. He's been around. We'll let him kind of hold the reins.
Yep.
But he knows that he has the team's trust to be that guy that can anchor them when they need it.
Yeah, and somebody to kind of help them. You know, if you're in a slump, you have a really good veteran there to help you get out of that slump, try and help you, assist you with, you know, developing as a younger goalie. So I think that's huge for him in the sense. And yeah, that I'm happy for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
Figuring out that goaltender situation.
So last note that I wrote before free agency that we'll comment on is Darcy Kemper is to the Capitals. He's a Washington Capital nowadays. Yep. So that's cool. Like,
hey, their goalie gets injured and has to leave and might retire. They have no problem replacing him.
Well, Samsonov, he's the one who left, isn't it? And he's on the lease now, which is crazy. They're back. And anyways, it's all over. The goalies got swapped around like musical chairs, man. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, Darcy Kemper, he's a good goalie. He just led a team to the Stanley Cup, winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, stood on his head.
Any team is going to be happy to have him. He's going to be great.
Yep.
So free agency hit today. All of the notes that I just read out, very out of order and very unorganized that I just said, I wrote before free agency hit.
Okay.
I just have a couple notes from free agency.
Let's just get through them.
Claude Giroux to Ottawa, baby. 3 years, $6.5 million, $19.5 million contract. We were reporting it all day today.
They got a veteran.
Bring the boy home. He's from Ottawa. Went to school in Orleans.
Yep.
Which is an Ottawa location.
Him and Pierre Dorian had lunch in Orleans way back when Dorian was still a scout, he said in the press conference today.
That's hilarious. He played for his juniors. He played for the Gatineau Olympiques.
Yep.
and his numbers actually retired for them, which is kind of fun.
That's crazy. Good for him.
Love it. I guess we'll stick with Ottawa for now. Yeah. Colin White is off the Sens. He's to sent to Florida for 1 year at $1.2 million. I think he's worth that contract. He's a good player who's injury prone. Mm-hmm. And in the past, I don't want to speak to the man because he seems like a nice guy, but I've heard word around the pond, the canal, the Ottawa Rideau Canal is that he doesn't have the greatest work ethic, but he's turned that around in the last few years and has really been putting the work in the gym and has been pumping iron, working hard on the ice. So it's a shame to see the guy go when I was really hoping that this season specifically we'd see, well, this season, I guess last season we were going to maybe see something more from him, but it's okay. Best of luck for him.
I think some guys grow stale, even though you're improving, even though you're doing what you have to do.
Yeah.
I think some guys just grow stale of the organization. So, yeah, you want to see him stay, maybe improve, but at the same time, is this a big deal that he's leaving? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's replaceable. So
yeah, I think so too. Okay, we'll bang out two quick.
Yep.
Vincent Trocheck, gone to New York, signed 7 years, $5.625 million, 7 years. And I think they're going to change his name to Vinny Trocheck, even though some people call him that. It's he's in New York now. Yeah. You got to change his name. Just like Tony DeAngelo. Did you know that Tony DeAngelo's was called for his whole career Anthony DeAngelo until he got put on the Rangers? And then he was like, I'm Tony DeAngelo. Anyway.
You got to go with the city, I guess.
That's a rumor. That's just a rumor. I maybe read that on Twitter, but yes, I thought that was hilarious.
This next one I'm pumped about as a Wings fan.
Andrew Kopp to the Red Wings. Same price, 5.625 a year for 5 years. Mm-hmm. That's great. What a player.
That's an
really
all-around player.
Rangers.
Yeah, that's an all-around player with a little bit of playoff experience, coming to a fresh Detroit team. Stevie Y's rebuilding this just like he did with Tampa. So I don't want to jump on Stevie Y being awesome too early, but I'm so pumped that he's back in Detroit leading the team.
The Yzer plan.
Man, what he did in Tampa, though, makes me feel so good about him coming to Detroit. It's like if you could do that with Tampa, you can do it in Detroit. And Detroit's fan base is already there. They just got the new arena not too long ago. The city looks good. To a degree, obviously.
To a degree.
But that area is awesome. I mean, I went to Wings game growing up, and I'm just pumped that this team's come back. And then him to be there to help kind of around, second line forwards, maybe, you think?
Yeah.
But I'm very excited about that, and I think Detroit's going to make a lot of waves in the next couple of weeks.
That would be great. I'd like to see a good team like that with some young guys start coming up. Ilya Mikheyev signs with the Canucks he's a Toronto Maple Leaf. Signs with the Canucks 4 years at $4.75 million. Good for him. Undrafted player, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe I don't know everything. But undrafted player, started playing with the Leafs basically on their top line out of nowhere. Really speedy guy. Good for him to get that money. Have a good time in Vancouver. I don't know if he's going to keep up his good pace that he was at 2 seasons ago. But, I
mean, Vancouver, though, is another team that need guys to step up. I think that you need some nice guys to fill some shoes. So that's a good spot. If you want to put in the work, the team's open to be yours. You know what I mean? You have a chance to be a star of a line. So some guys want that, though.
They don't even like their stars over there in Vancouver. They're like...
What happened to that team?
Pedersen, I hate that guy. It's what's your best player? Not actually, obviously, but oh my God, it's brutal. Sergachev signs with the Lightning, sticking with them. Listen to this. Sergachev, 8 years at $8.5 million. They're paying these guys out the wazoo, as they say.
8 years for $8 million. That is crazy.
Crazy.
Another contract where...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Speaking of contracts.
Okay.
Brent Burns.
What about him?
This is a fantastic deal for the Hurricane. So the Hurricane lose Tony DeAngelo. He's gone. And they get Brent Burns, another offensive defenseman, older, more experienced, definitely slower, but still has that potential. Gets them with 33% retained to San Jose. So San Jose is tanking, I guess. We're going to see Erik Karlsson go somewhere soon, I think. And they get rid of Burns. They're going to get rid of Karlsson, in my opinion. But great for the Hurricane. They get another offensive defenseman.
The Sharks, a rebuild that never was rebuilt.
I know, they just suck.
They
They're
just
like,
stopped.
you know what? We're gonna suck this year, but maybe we won't. It's like, no, you will.
You probably will, but yeah. And then the big one that I saw just a couple hours ago.
This is the big one. Connor Brown leaves the Senators. He's out of here, going to Washington. What a shame for a second-round pick in 2024. Crazy stuff. Oh yeah, and Johnny Gaudreau's in Ohio.
Okay, Gaudreau in Columbus for 7 years at 9.8 average a year.
Fire the cannons, baby.
Did this guy...
Fire the cannon. Boom.
Does he know where he's going to play hockey?
Does he know he's going to Ohio to play with Patrick Laine?
I don't know if he knows that he is going to Columbus. I think he just saw the price tag and said, I'll do it there.
Well, Calgary offered him more.
I heard that, but you must really not like Calgary.
You must hate Calgary, Johnny Gaudreau.
If you're going to leave Calgary, promising young guys, you know, the team's in a nice, I'm not saying Ohio's not a nice city.
No, it's not.
Calgary's a nice city. You say, bye, Calgary. I'm going to go to Columbus for I think this is the second. So other than Calgary, this is the highest contract he was offered, I think. Other than Calgary.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that would make sense. Yeah. But he, man, oh man, like, he should have gone to New Jersey. My God.
New Jersey offered him 7 years for 9. So that extra 0.8. I mean, after taxes.
After taxes.
I think that makes a big difference. But
yeah, so... Oh my God, craziness.
I don't even think he looked at where he was going to play hockey. But hey, there you go. You got a franchise guy for the next 7 years.
Put him on the line with Laine.
You better make something happen. For that amount of money for 7 years, you got to make something happen.
They're going to make something happen.
All right. You heard it here first.
Columbus in the playoffs in the next 2 years. No, I don't think they're going to make it. They suck. Oh my God, they're so bad.
I can't believe he chose to go play out of he definitely probably got so many offers. Yeah, less money, but teams that were probably much better. Never mind New Jersey. I wonder what top tier teams that had some cap space tried to do.
I think the two top teams were New Jersey and the Islanders that were really wanting him.
See, even the Islanders, I feel like would be a better fit.
And it's close to home for him. That's what he wants anyway.
Anyway, we got this guy. I think he saw a price tag, and that's what he wants to do. So I think before we go to race weekend, I think we just get baseball out of the way. Quick baseball news. We don't cover a lot of baseball. But Blue Jays fire their manager today.
Yeah. With Charlie Montoyo.
That's correct.
I don't watch baseball. Sorry, guys.
So this is funny because football is guilty for it too, but baseball is probably the leading sport where when something's not going wrong, get the manager out of here. It's all his fault. This guy can't do anything. Get him out of here. So they fire him today. I pulled up a couple stats from the end of June, just before they went into the All-Star break stats. So these are from the June 31st. They were 8-17 in their last 25. Okay?
Not great.
11th fewest innings pitched by their starters. Okay, so your starters aren't going deep in the ball game. All right, so that's a problem. 17th in ERA with 4.45, pretty high. One of their starting pitchers also had a season-ending injury, Ryu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Their bullpen faced the fourth most batters in the MLB with 427 because their starters aren't going deep into the game. And then another stat I saw was that the third batting order around for a pitcher is the hardest. So your starters aren't getting to that round, which is kind of good, I guess. But then your bullpen goes in so tired because they play every single day of every single game. So you can't expect them to do anything good. They have the fifth highest ERA of bullpens. So they're playing a lot, not playing well. And then they're 21st out of 30th for runners left on base. So scoring potential.
Yeah.
And then they also had an unfortunate tragedy in the franchise. Their first base coaches their daughter had a very tragic accident, and she unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So that plays super heavy on a team, and you can't blame them for really putting baseball second. I know you're a professional athlete, and that's your job, but obviously life takes over at some points. So I don't think that was fair to fire him. But again, baseball, you got to do something. So if you're a Blue Jays fan, let me know what you want to see them to do, because we have no idea what they should do. So you let us know what they should do after the All-Star break.
Yeah, I certainly don't know what they should do. I just was on Twitter, and I saw his name trending, and I was like, Blue Jays? He's fired. Clicked on it. Yeah, he's fired.
Oh, man. That's just like that, eh?
Yeah, you just know.
All right. So we do have quite the race weekend that went down.
Oh, yeah, that was a super fun race weekend. I mean, other than the smoke screens that were going on.
Well, so for those of you that don't know, F1 was in Austria this week. That is actually a home race for Max, right? Considered?
I guess, right?
I guess that's kind of there are a lot of Max fans. I don't know if it's considered his home race, but damn, if it's not, I'd hate to see what a home race looks like for the other drivers.
In the bullpen.
So let's just start off the weekend in chronological order.
Quali?
So we had quali. Quali got a little, I want to say intense, but it's what I expected. So Aston Martin, again, double Q1 elimination. At this point, you got to blame the car, right? At this point,
yes.
If you're Sebastian Vettel,
you gotta blame the car.
Yeah, you can't be a multi-world champion and then go to Aston Martin and just
you can't get out of Q1
every single week. So that's a little disappointing for Vettel, but there's definitely going to be some driver movement. We'll get to that after. So then again, I put this in my notes. Ricciardo out again in Q1. That's what we expect at this point. If we're living this live in qualifying, I wasn't shocked to see that. Alpine, both cars in the top 10. Love to see it.
I really, truly think, I'm jumping ahead just a touch, but I really think we're going to see an Alpine podium coming up soon.
Well,
anyways,
we'll get to predictions after.
Yeah,
keep that for later.
Sorry. So yes, both Alpines were in the top 10. That's fantastic. Yes. And also in the top 10, both Haas. We love Haas.
We do.
How do you not love Haas?
Got a little special place in my heart.
With Mick and with K-Mag, those are some beauties.
Yeah, and the team dynamic, you gotta love the team with no money, the team that struggles with sponsorship, the team that struggles with drivers. If you're following the last couple of years, you'll love to see it. Even this year, Gunther had to give Mick quite the talking to. Like, we can't afford new cars every week, all right? So you got to smarten up, and he did. So
for the love of God, Mick, stop ripping the car in half. And we are looking like vankers.
That was a voice recording, actually.
Yeah, that was actually so accurate.
Hamilton crashes in late Q3, and the crowd erupted.
Yeah.
The crowd erupted. That's how I kind of looked down for a second, and I just heard the crowd, and I was like, "What happened?" Look up. There's a Mercedes in the wall, and I'm like, that's how you know it's a home race for Max.
Absolutely.
And then the red flag comes out 4 minutes later, something like that. Like 5 turns into the next lap, Russell goes into the wall, kind of spins out onto the gravel, way less damage than Lewis. But it was very funny to see both Mercedes go out like that. And then, of course, end of quali, we have Max on pole, Charles in second, and then we have Carlos in third. So that was good, and then that brings us to the sprint.
Well, we had a sprint race this weekend, which is kind of fun. We don't usually have sprint races. We can give our opinions of sprint races real quick before we give a rundown.
Bad.
You don't like sprints?
No, I don't like sprints. The problem here. I'll give you a quick point of why sprints are bad.
Yeah.
So quali, Hamilton crashes, ends up in 8th, right? Because he couldn't put time up on the next 2 laps, so he ends up in 8th. The race then starts. Skip the sprint. Hamilton gets himself up to, I think, 5th, 4th. That just takes away a whole storyline of the race, of Hamilton having to start in 8th, fight his way up with pit stops. You know, you got to be aware of your tires degrading. You got to be worried about your fuel. There's a whole bunch that goes into starting at a lower grid position compared to your Ferraris and your Red Bulls and whatnot. And, that didn't work out. And even if you're Red Bull, Sergio, because he had, I do believe it was a grid penalty.
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, he starts in 13th, and then in the sprint, he gets himself back up to 5th. So it was Hamilton 4th, him and I can't remember. But that just takes away an entire storyline.
Yeah, but so you say that, and my point against what you're saying was Checo, because wasn't that crazy that he really, like, because of the grid penalty, I don't have notes on this, unfortunately, but because of the grid penalty, he was so far back, but the sprint gave him an opportunity to, like, boost himself up before the race, and he showed how good he is. You know, he showed that his car is moving.
It's funny, though, because you get that opportunity when you race.
Yeah, that's
you
the
get
point,
that opportunity, and I want to see a mix. I want to see the guys like Ricciardo, right? If Ricciardo would have put up a Q2 quali and he's in front of Sergio, I want to see him with Sergio behind him trying to put some pressure on him. I want to see him defend. I want to see some of that development from other drivers and getting their chance to start in 8th because of a grid penalty, not a 20-lap sprint race where he jumps up 8 spots and then it's the same old from quali. I think that's where it loses it because you're not mixing up the field. So that's our opinions on sprint.
You have a good point on that. And like my last point is I'll just say I wake up on a Saturday morning to watch a quali. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind waking up on a Friday morning to watch a quali if that means on Saturday morning I get to watch some actual cars race.
Yeah, but you got to watch them race for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's, I mean, the points are there, so it's still important, but guys race more cautiously because you don't want to wreck your car for the next morning, or in their case, it was the afternoon. For us, it was the morning. So you don't want to wreck your car, so you want to be as cautious as possible. And I want to see more diversity on the grid. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, no, I definitely get that. So what happened in this sprint particularly?
Alonso's car didn't start.
Yeah, I think they knew it wasn't going to start.
Yeah, they just put him out there, I think, to avoid a penalty. I have no idea.
Just for looks.
Yeah, but they put him out there, had to roll him back in. They tried doing a manual ignite. I did hear that. They have an external starter,
like with a rock and
a flint stick. Yeah,
flint and steel trying
and
to
they just sit there. So his car didn't start. Sergio, we just talked about, 13th gets to 5th. If Ferrari can hear me, figure it out. All right, there is no reason why your number 1 and number 2 driver are fighting on turn 1, 2, and 3 in a sprint race, almost taking each other out on a sprint race. And then losing time to Max when points are available in a sprint race. So, Ferrari, if you can hear me, get it together. Give me some team order. Go on that walkie-talkie and tell Carlos or whoever has the fastest car, you're going to be in front today.
I'd like to disagree, but I'll disagree less later because of how the race actually turned out.
Okay.
But for right now, why would Carlos not try to pass Charles in the first couple turns is my question.
You're trying.
No, you're trying to win.
But just so everybody knows that if you win a race, that matters that race. But you're trying to build up points to win your championship at the end of the year. So yes, you want to win the race. Yes, you want to be the number 1. Yes, your teammates you're going to fight. I get that. No one's saying no. Don't almost take out both of you trying to do so, especially when it's clear Charles had a couple seconds on him, like when the race paced out. Okay, sure,
that is true.
So you're gonna fight him in turns 1, 2, 3, 4 and then maybe you pass him and you're up in front of him for like 2 laps. Charles' tires get warm and he passes you with DRS. I just don't see, especially when you're trying to fight for a championship, and in Charles' case you're trying to gain points back to gain on Max. But that's the sprint race, essentially. They ended up losing time, I thought, because Ferrari had the pace at the end of the sprint race. They couldn't make it back because they lost too much time at the beginning. Overall, the sprint race wasn't that exciting, I found. Like, yeah, it was fun to watch, but I didn't think there was anything...
Other than Checo, really.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything in there where I was like, oh, that's amazing, and that's going to be in the highlight books for this season. But, Max ended up winning the sprint, Charles in second, Carlo in third. Pretty much stale at the end there, so whatever. They were each like 2.5 seconds gaps.
I think you hit the nail right on the head there with Ferrari fighting at the start, and then they were too slow to catch Max.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a sprint, and I think just really quick before we get into the race, Vettel was a suspended fine, so they fined him, but they didn't actually hand him.
Oh yeah.
They fined him for getting mad at a drivers' meeting with the FIA, and he said something along the lines, allegedly, saying that he was sick and tired of the FIA shit. Essentially, because he said he'd been racing with F1 for 15 years and he's sick and tired of it. Don't know what it was regarding, not sure. But he left, stormed out, came back and apologized, and they said, all right, we'll give you a verbal fine. Like, they said they were going to fine him, didn't actually fine him. It's a suspended fine, so I guess if he does it again, I don't know. So that was a little pre-race drama.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then...
Seb is a great guy. Like, if you watch all clips of him, he is, by all, like, accounts, a very respectable, nice guy.
That's funny because the FIA said that he wasn't setting an example as a role model as F1 drivers should be.
Interesting.
But we both agree that Vettel
He seems like a fantastic guy.
This year, he's been pretty verbal about the fan base and what he disagrees with the FIA. And maybe that's what's going on here. They don't want people disagreeing with him. So the race starts.
Yep.
Max got a great start at the gate, pinches Leclerc off to the side, and they kind of roll with it for a couple turns there. Leclerc's kind of on the heels. He clearly has the pace for the first couple turns, but Max is doing a good defending job, even without the pace. He was really defending really well.
Max was slower, though, for sure.
He kind of fell asleep in a turn.
That was a phenomenal move by Charles. If you're talking for the highlight, like the highlight reel of the season, that was a fantastic move from Leclerc.
Yeah, puts his nose right in between, dives down on the inside. I forget which turn it was.
I think like 4 or something. I don't actually know. I'm talking on my ass, but I think it was like he faked to the outside, right? Or Max just assumed he was going to fall into the outside, and then he dive bombed right on the inside and took him. It was
beautiful.
It was awesome.
Love to see it.
Move.
But then right away, just before that happened, Perez and Russell made contact in turn 2.
Man.
And that puts a hole in the body, I do believe, of Perez it was. Caused some pretty bad damage. Puts him into the gravel. He was able to get back on track, makes a pit stop. At the end of the day, too much damage to keep the race going, said team principal Christian Horner. He said there was too much damage, so they just pulled him out of the race, which is, what do you expect when you take a hit like that? So
Checo's had bad luck, man.
Haven't they all?
Yeah, like
don't talk to a Ferrari fan about
Carlos,
bad luck.
Yeah, like Carlos has had his stint earlier of bad luck. Leclerc had his the last couple races. Checo's had it really rough. But
so then the race gets underway. Charles doing pretty good, creates a good gap with Max and everybody else. They go in for pit stops. They come out. Carlos ends up behind Max with about 20-something laps left. He got great pace. Like, even when they showed him alone on camera, I was like, that car is moving. The
Ferraris had a lot of speed.
Yeah, that thing was going. But a little too good to be true. He goes, I think he was a couple turns away from taking Max on. Boom. That thing exploded. Like, that engine, when you watch it in slow motion, you watch, like, the pieces hit the inside. Like, you can see how much damage, like, that explosion went off. And it wasn't like, oh, there's a fire. Oh, there's an explosion. It was just 1 to 100. Boom, that's an explosion. And Carlo goes out off a turn, and the car starts rolling backwards. The car's on fire.
There's no handbrake in an F1 car.
No.
So they're on a hill, and he's rolling backwards, trying to get out. But he can't get out because the car's rolling. And one of the friggin' marshals, who they don't get paid, man. These marshals
don't get paid?
No, these marshals are volunteers.
I did not know that.
The one guy runs out and I swear, have you seen the clip?
I saw the clip.
And he turns around and he bounces.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fire. Oh,
no, thank you. But one of the marshals did put like a block or something behind the tire. Yeah. And that stopped the car from moving. They were able to get him out. Luckily, with no problem.
There was a couple times where he reached Carlo, obviously, whether he put it in gear or something, and he went to go get out, hoping it would stop rolling, and he's reaching out, and the car's just on fire,
Still
and it
rolling.
looked whether it was as bad as it looked, but it looked scary. There was a moment there where I was like, who cares if it's a Ferrari? That car is on fire with a man inside. So that was crazy. Starts rolling backwards. I'm glad he's out. I'm glad he's okay. But Ferrari again has a DNF and a reliability issue, and who knows when that's going to get fixed. This is just the same song and dance, and then the same lap.
What do we start hearing?
That Carlos is on fire. Literally 2 turns later, team radio. Charles goes, the throttle is sticking and it won't let up. His throttle was stuck at anywhere between 20 and 30%. We'll call it 25 for this conversation. Could you imagine driving your car and you let go of the gas and you're going 25%?
Yeah, especially when you're going nearly 300 kilometers an hour. It's this kind of is important that I don't continue going this fast. Yeah, it was just so
Ferrari.
For typical, right? Of this season where Carlos blows up and it's oh no, so sad for Carlos. And then, but at least Charles is going to win this race. And then, boop.
Yeah.
Guys, what is going on?
Yeah, the throttle's stuck.
The throttle, no.
And That, like, oh man, I would rather, I mean, I'm sure if you ask any race car driver, they would rather have to push 10 times harder on the throttle instead of it getting stuck open. Because he said after the race that he was just letting go completely, and then he was feeling the car out going into the turns.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
your entire race just changed in the last 15 laps of that race. So
You saw it too when he was driving. It was crazy.
oh yeah, there was a couple times where he got real loose, real wide because he was coming in hot.
Little loosey goosey, this guy.
So anyway, he comes up with the win. Good for him. Back on the podium in like
oh my god,
5 weeks, man.
2 months. First time on the podium in 2 months.
Good for him. Hopefully we see it more because I'm sick and tired of seeing red cars blow up. So
okay, and this is what I'm talking about.
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about number
Don't say
3
it.
and 4.
I won't say it.
Mercedes, baby.
That's fine.
Now, I'm not a Mercedes fan, but they have a very interesting arc going on right now because they're consistently picking up every scrap of points they can get every time a Red Bull doesn't finish, every time a Ferrari doesn't finish. There's always a Mercedes with their licking their lips, licking their little jibs ready to go.
Yeah,
they want to chomp on those points.
They don't care if they're like 5-10 seconds behind. They're just because at this point you're kind of expecting one of those 4 main cars right now. You're expecting them you're expecting one to blow up, right?
Or have some type of issue.
Yeah, you're expecting at least one, and then that opens the door for you to kind of get into 4th, and then like this happened, right? Like stuff. Sergio goes out, opens the door for 4th, and then Carlo explodes, right? That gets you
Lewis Hamilton
one more
on
position.
The podium.
And we talked about that bet we made last episode. That's what I mean by there's no way that a Mercedes wins that like a race with all 4 of those cars performing at their highest with no DNFs.
I will say if we're doing a bit of a look ahead, I do think that Mercedes, with some changes that are happening after the summer break, I really think Mercedes is going to start pushing for wins. But yeah, Lewis has finished every race this season.
Yeah.
And George has finished in the top 5 of every race except for one where he crashed out on the first lap.
That huge crash, yeah.
Yeah, it's Silverstone home race, which is a shame for the nerd, but that's okay.
Yeah, but he's young. He'll have a couple more years. So the race goes down. Shell gets back on the podium. Great. Max gets second in the hometown. Mick and the Haas's and Mag, they seem to really calm down, which I love to see. Mag, though, I think he didn't listen to team orders because he lost the DNS train with Mick. So Mick was behind him, and he's like, I need him to slow down so I can catch the DRS.
During the sprint.
Was that during the sprint?
Yeah, during the sprint. Okay. I think, who was it behind?
Hamilton, I thought, was behind him. Yeah.
Hamilton was behind.
Yes, you're right, 8th. Yes.
Yes, behind Mick.
Yeah.
And Mick was saying to Mag, Mick and Mag, he was saying to Mag, like, yo, back up. Stop going so fast so I can catch your DRS. And then Lewis won't pass me. And K-Mag's like, nah, son, and just taking off.
Listen, rookie.
Yeah, literally.
Listen, here. So, whatever. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, we still have to remember they're both in Haas's. And Meg had a better start to the season, I find. I feel like there's a little gray area going on right now. And it's open for Mick. Like, I think second half of the season, the Haas team is open. Like,
welcome, Mick.
Yeah, like, he's going to... You get 2 weeks off, find yourself, which I think he's done a pretty good job. Calm down. You got your first couple points in here. You know, let's do something.
I think it's more than that for Mick Schumacher. I really think that like him placing 6th in this race is like monumental
for him.
Yes.
Like personally, because I think he has your dad is your dad, right?
But
you're gonna have a weight on your shoulders to be a good F1 driver.
Like, the questions about his career, even a month ago, with how many cars he was crashing with, he still hasn't had points yet. He didn't get any points at all last season. It's still not happening. K-Mag's been getting some points. Why aren't you getting points? He got points last race, and then he gets 6th places. Man, he arrived.
Yeah.
I think, and I really hope he continues.
Yeah, and I just imagine, sports are really bad for this. Your rookie year, right? All sports are guilty for this, maybe except for golf.
Yeah.
Because it's an individual sport, but even F1's obviously individual to a degree. But your first 8 races and you crashed 3 cars and you didn't. Yeah, you'll never have a career here.
Washed, absolutely.
especially him being him. I mean, look at Latifi, right? Like, Latifi has done absolutely nothing.
You're right.
Okay.
He's the absolute
He's an
goat.
absolute nothing. And even people are like, oh, he's not good. He's not good. He's not good. But nobody said, like, the first 2 races, oh, Latifi, get him out of F1 right now. Mick's literally first 2 races, everybody was like, this guy, don't even bother.
Of this season.
Don't even bother.
Because last season they gave him all the benefit of the doubt in the world because his teammate was Nikita Mazepin. So
yes.
he got all the support last year, but then this year when it came into it, that's kind of when the naysayers started coming in, and Haas was getting points, but Mick wasn't getting any of them. It was all Kevin Magnussen.
But Mick didn't race a full season last year, right?
No, so
it's only half a season, right?
There's the whole thing where it's like this is his true rookie season.
Exactly.
But it's the same thing with all the drivers. Like, you look at Yuki last year, Yuki Tsunoda. He didn't have a great year last year, but this year Yuki's really showing that he's like maybe not as good as Pierre, because Pierre's got some pace, man. When Pierre can drive and he doesn't crash,
he's not reckless.
He's really good, but Yuki's up there. Like,
well, so
you got to give them time.
Yep, I think I hope really. I really hope that Mick really shows up, because we all want him to win, and especially, obviously, we're not going to pretend like his name doesn't add anything to this.
Yeah, of course.
His name obviously brings something to the table. But both Haas's, both Alpines get points, and then just before we keep going, go ahead.
You're not even going to talk about my team you're talking about double points. You're not even going to talk about McLaren.
I was just going to McLaren right now.
You weren't.
Yeah, I was right here. So right here, Ricardo.
You were going to talk about UFC or something.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
Ricardo.
The man, Daniel Ricciardo.
So I judged him a lot in Q1 in the sprint race, but he ends up getting into 10th?
Ninth.
Both McLarens get points, but here's where my criticism comes in.
Yeah.
Ricardo needs multiple 2 to 3 weeks after the midseason break of points.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been very open about his contract maybe not going 3 years. They've been very open with that. That's been a conversation. Ricardo comes out today at some point and says, I plan on finishing my contract. Well, unfortunately, it is not his choice, really.
There are certain caveats in there or whatever, loopholes. They can get him out of that.
Exactly. And then they announce that an IndyCar driver, Colton Herta,
I've been hearing about this kid,
will be testing with McLaren for 2 days.
Yeah. American.
Yes, American. Now, whether that's to scare Ricardo, whether that's to look for your future.
Well, they found Lando.
They did, but you don't really want two.
No, but
you don't want a rookie driver under Lando, would you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. You'd be that team.
Lando's the guy.
You think so?
I'm a McLaren fan, but Lando's the guy.
Yeah. So
Lando's on the level.
I hope this Ricardo comes back and says, "Oh wow, they're testing with new people. They're testing with new drivers. No, I need to put it in gear."
That's not what he'd say. He'd say they're testing with new drivers, with new guys. I'll put it in gear, mate.
There you go. So hopefully that sparks something. And then post-race, really quick, we got to move on. But post-race, talking about abusive fans at Austria.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of negative things, abuse, and all these things coming out. I don't know what was going on in those grandstands. But F1, you got to do better. I heard some crazy stories.
Burning
hats, burning flags, just nonsense, pushing people, hitting people, throwing things at people. Obviously, your security can't detect a canister in people's pockets because there was enough colored smoke in the air to, honestly wave flags. They could have called a yellow flag at the beginning of the race because those first couple turns were orange.
Is that a canister in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
I don't know. There was a bunch of F1 fans that were just happy to be there, I guess.
I guess so. Looking ahead to
next or 2 weeks.
France. Well, because sorry, I just cut you off to change the subject, but I did want to mention Esteban.
In the Alpine?
Esteban. Yes. Esteban Ocon, fantastic performance. We haven't talked about any of the Alpines, but 5th place. I think it was his 100th race or something like that. Yeah, I think it was
his 100th race?
His 100th race in F1, P5. I think Alpine is getting a podium soon, and I think we're going to see an Ocon podium. I like that kid.
The way
he's fast. That car is fast on the straights. It's nuclear on the straights.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the Alpine team in general. The drivers, especially, obviously, but the the like engineers, team principals. I forget his name. He's on all the time too. I should know this. I gotta be better. But they're doing great. So very happy to see that. Track limits, big storyline after the race because tons of penalties given out. Well, tons of warnings giving out. There was 5-second penalties. There was like 40 warnings though. Each driver had 2 warnings.
But they warned Lewis, and he was like, I haven't even gone off. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but that's Lewis.
Yeah, well, of course.
Lewis, he's just grateful.
He's just so grateful.
He's grateful. But like Charles and Max both get 2 warnings, I think, in the first 10 laps.
Yeah.
And then nothing. So it's like, did the FIA just sit there and go, we gave our warnings, but we don't actually want to get involved in who wins a championship. So
yeah,
we'll take a seat back. But drivers openly expressed they're not happy with the FIA. And I did find out, too, I was not aware of this, that the FIA is rotating marshals, stewards, and race directors alternatively. So one race, runways. I don't know how good that works, but the drivers are not happy about it. But we'll have lots of time to cover our predictions going into France.
Yeah.
So I think now we move on to the event this weekend.
I will say.
Yeah.
Esteban's home race next race. So if we are making predictions.
There's a couple people with home races next week.
And Mick, driver of the day.
Mick, driver of the day.
Did you see how happy he was when they told him he was driver of the day?
He was like a little kid.
What a little cutie. Yeah. I love that guy.
You wiping tears?
Yeah, come on. What a nice guy.
Yeah, you're so happy. You saw that beautiful smile light up.
But just to contradict that real quick, when K-Mag didn't let him into his DSR, DRS, what am I DSR?
Yeah.
DSLR. When he didn't let him in his DRS,
yep.
He reminded me of Michael Schumacher, like how angry he was.
You know, a lot of people posted like a side by side. I saw that, and when he got like annoyed and his face kind of like dropped in, he looked exactly like his dad. Like it was really crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
And and we're pretty recent to the F1 scene, like the last couple of years. So we didn't get to really take in the whole Schumacher thing. So I hope a Schumacher dynasty breaks out.
That'd be super cool.
So that we can say we were part of one. So anyway, moving into this weekend, we have UFC. I haven't been really up to par with my UFC, so tell us what we're going on this weekend.
Well, do we want to talk about real quick what happened last weekend? Because there wasn't too much. The only thing.
Yeah, we'll do a quick recap.
Yeah, the only thing we really have to talk about from last weekend was the main event.
Yeah, crazy fight.
The battle of the Rafaels.
Yeah.
Rafael Fiziev against Rafael Dos Anjos.
Mm-hmm.
They were the main card. The main event on the main card. 5th round KO for Rafael Fiziev. He moves up in the rankings. He takes the 7th overall spot in the lightweight rankings, which is super impressive. Really tough fight. RDA is a really tough guy to beat.
Mm-hmm.
So super impressive that he takes his spot and he takes him out. Fiziev calls out Justin Gaethje after the fight.
Very interesting.
Which is a good call out. I mean, Gaethje coming off a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So, like looking to fight somebody maybe a bit lower in the rankings.
Sure.
And he says, I just thought this quote was hilarious. He says, bad leg kicks, but he punches hard. So he says he kicks bad, but he punches hard. And Fiziev is a Tiger Muay Thai guy out of Thailand. So he knows his kicks, and he had some really good striking. It was a great fight. I mean, you saw how tired he was. He doesn't usually do 5-round fights. I think that was his first 5-round fight.
Really? Well, I mean, it showed. Like, he got into that 5th round. He was a little tired, and then he clipped him once, and then it's like all his energy came back to him, and he landed like 3-4 elbows right against the fence.
He saw that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and it just sparked him. And I think, I mean, the rest of the card was okay. I don't think there was anything like noteworthy.
The only other one that I thought was really cool was that Nurmagomedov guy.
Mm-hmm.
That 135 pounder.
Okay.
The kickboxing. I think he is a kickboxer, but he's got some crazy strikes. That guy was nuts. And he won his fight.
Yeah, I can't remember what fight that was, but like his number.
Like third from
fight?
The top.
Okay.
But okay, so the fight coming up this weekend is an absolute sneaky banger of a fight card. There are some sick fights going on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hyped for it, but I think it's really early. And anyways, like in the day, Ortega is taking on Yair Rodriguez in the main event.
That's the only fight I really know.
That is a sick fight, ranked number 2 and number 3 and the featherweight division, 145, just under Volkanovski. Yair Rodriguez coming off a loss to Max Holloway, 5-round decision, which is like, you put up a good fight against Max Holloway, but he did get pieced up and he looked like an absolute like pulp after because Holloway punched him so much. And then Ortega, who honestly has given, other than the Max Holloway fights early, has given Volkanovski the toughest time, one may say.
Here's my problem.
Yeah.
With that division right now.
Yeah.
So winner of this fights Volk again.
That's like, what they want.
We all wait for Volk to come back from whatever he's going to try and do in whatever weight class he's going to try and do. And then we wait for them to have this fight again.
I think the winner of this fight should fight Josh Emmett or should fight...
For contender?
For, like a title eliminator while Volk gets, rehabs his finger because he's got a broken thumb right now.
Oh, you mean to say while he becomes a double champ?
No, I think that can wait. I think that can wait. We talked about this last week. I think it can wait a bit. But I think maybe one more title defense and then go up to 155.
Yeah,
but
he might disagree.
The champ can do what he wants.
Yeah, and it's vacant. And
it is. It is technically vacant.
Yeah. So.
But Ortega is 15-2, and his only 2 losses are to Volkanovski and Max Holloway, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. Yair's 13-3, and his last loss was to Max in his last fight.
Yep.
That's the main event, which I think is a sick fight. Like that's gonna be awesome. T-City, he's gonna.
What's your predictions though for that fight?
Ortega by submission.
In what round? Give me a round. Call it.
4th round. I think it's gonna be late because I think he's gonna let Yair drop his guard a bit, and then he's gonna pull off a triangle or something crazy. Anyways, let's continue with the card.
Yep.
Co-main event. The Karate Hottie, Michelle Watterson, is fighting Amanda Lemos at strawweight. That's going to be cool.
Is that her actual nickname?
That's her actual nickname.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I'll show you her Instagram.
Okay, I saw you write in the notes here, and I was like, I don't know if he wrote that, but that's her name.
No, that's her her actual name. The Karate Hottie, Michelle Watterson.
All right, very cool.
She's good. She's coming off a couple losses. I mean, I don't remember what her last fight was, but the last time I watched her fight, she lost. Li Jinliang, who his last fight was against Khamzat Chimaev.
Didn't win that.
No, he did not win that.
He
got absolutely ragdolled,
right?
picked up and made fun of in front of Dana White. He's fighting a guy, Salikov. I've never heard of this guy, but that should be a cool fight. I don't know if that's how you say it either. That's going to be a cool fight. Lauren Murphy is fighting Misha Cupcake Tate.
Okay.
That's fun. Lauren Murphy's last fight was against Shevchenko, which she obviously lost to. And Valentina, former champ, has lost 3 of her last 4, which is a shame. But that'll be a cool fight too. That's the whole main card. And then there is one fight that's pretty interesting on the prelims. Jack Shore. He's ranked number 14 right now. I didn't write the weight class down. And I actually don't remember what weight class he's in. Maybe he's one. Let's see.
I have the rankings on the iPad.
He's this is bantamweight, 135. And he's fighting Ricky Simon, who's ranked 13th. And Jack Shore is this really cool UK men's who's 16-0.
16-0.
16-0. So he's actually like an absolute tank, which is his nickname, Tank. Right. And that'll be a cool fight. Like I'm definitely tuning in for that one. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the pound for pound rankings in UFC right now.
Yeah, I saw that and I was kind of interested because I got some questions for you.
Yeah.
So you start us off.
Well, the pound for pound rankings, Aljamain Sterling's up to 6th, with Dustin Poirier dropping down a bit, and with Max Holloway dropping down to 10th.
So what made Sterling get moved this week?
I think it was...
He fought 273, right?
He fought a while
ago.
Peter
Yang. Or Peter Yan. What am I saying? Yang. Peter Yan.
Piotr, yes.
Yes, he fought 273. I remember that, and it was a little controversial.
But I think it was because... I think it was because Poirier got dropped down. What was the reason?
Because the guy won't fucking fight anybody.
Oh my god. Well, he's looking to fight.
Whatever,
I'll defend Poirier, but he's looking to fight. And Holloway's down to 10th in the pound-pound rankings. I think the top 4 of pound-pound rankings being Usman, Volkanovski, Adesanya, Oliveira.
Correct. In that order.
I think is like perfect.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the most accurate you can get.
The other thing too is that I don't see anyone, like when they defend those titles, I don't really see anybody walking in there and taking those titles away from those guys.
And if they did, it would be super impressive.
Yeah, because they've just been so dominant for so long.
Or they've been on some good stretches. So some of these guys.
It's just to kill that momentum. And even like we saw in Izzy's fight, like we talked about last week, even though we might have been bored, he still won 5 rounds. So it doesn't really matter what we think. And then the other thing I had, you also mentioned here, there's Sugar. That got moved up in his, not pound for pound, but in his
bantamweight, bantam, to 12.
Good for him, because I think that means we're not seeing a rematch.
Yeah, like I don't know if he got moved up because somebody else got moved down, but either way, that shows that the UFC at least has Sugar Sean stock. You know what I mean? Like that upped his stock. The fight against Pedro, the fact that he didn't like lose in the first round and that he put up a good fight. He didn't take any head or body shots the whole time.
Yep.
Like I think that goes to show that he deserves to be in that top of the bantamweight division.
Yeah, I think so too. But the other weird thing I found was, and then Pedro didn't move at all.
Yeah, I think that makes sense too, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
Just because he didn't necessarily lose?
He didn't necessarily lose. You kind of can't count it as a loss. Yeah. But I think that just like how Sean moved up, I think because somebody moved down, I think Pedro's very, I guess, not that the rankings even matter, but I think that he's vulnerable to be moved down the rankings. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I think the rankings matter when they're making fights, and like when we're talking about who we want to see, and we go, okay, we want to see Sugar in the top 10, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't know who Pedro fights next. To be honest, we don't care about that division right now. Like, I care about the division, but I want to see Sugar fight again. Like, yeah, that was like as a Sugar Sean fan. Like, we have Dillashaw that's set to fight, but that's it, like we talked about.
That's the best division in the UFC.
The bantamweight?
Yeah, 135.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like, best division now or best upcoming division?
Best division now. Really? Other than,
lightweight.
I always say this.
Yeah.
Other than lightweight. So, lightweight's best division.
When we're talking about it, we're just imagine we're already excluded lightweight.
We already assume lightweight's the best.
Yeah. So, there's that. And then, really quick, before we move on from UFC, what is going on with Nate Diaz? I saw a bunch of stuff going on today. Now he's talking about, Khabib's, the Hall of Fame. What does it even mean? He doesn't care. But that's Nate Diaz. He doesn't care about the Hall of Fame. Khabib's just on the run. He doesn't want to fight. And I know that's like Conor shtick and stuff like that. But Nate wants a fight. He's been saying he wants a fight. He's not getting one. So what? Now he just wants to see how much he can stir up. Like,
he was literally peeing on the UFC PI, like, because he doesn't care. He just wants to fight.
And I know he doesn't want to. He's not going to resign. I know that's the whole point.
Yeah, he just wants
one fighting.
Let
leave.
the man fight.
Yeah,
in
and
my
get
opinion,
out of there.
Let him fight. He has said all these people he wants to fight.
But they need to. And you can't blame. Here's the thing: as much as the guy wants to fight, and the UFC's pushing his contract further and further, they want to see him and McGregor, or they want to see him sell out an arena.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if he can do that tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I think he needs. They need to pick the right opponent.
Yes, and I think it's Dustin Poirier. Okay. And I'll put my nuts on the table and say that I really think it's Dustin Poirier. That'd be such a sick fight.
I hope you're right. God. I really hope you're right.
Because they want Dustin Poirier to fight Colby Covington, who, to be honest, should be in the pound-for-pound rankings, even though he's an ass. He should be in the pound-for-pound rankings because he's given Kamaru Usman, the pound-for-pound number 1, the biggest obstacle. And if Dustin Poirier can be in the pound-for-pound rankings, because he was good for a while and put up a really good fight against all these top contenders, then why isn't Colby, who put up the best anyways?
Well, I think you're right. I think you got a point. I hope what you're saying comes to reality. So we'll see.
Nate Diaz needs to fight. Yeah.
Only time will tell. And we all want to see the diamond get in the octagon again. That pretty much covers it for sports. I know. See, again, I said that we didn't have a bunch of sports to talk about,
but
it's always sports that gets us so fired up. So we'll try and move through these next segments pretty quick. So let's just go through this. You in entertainment, Connor is watching Miss Marvel.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about it. Let's go.
You know what?
What?
I started Miss Marvel yesterday.
Okay.
I watched episode 1 yesterday. I watched episode 2 today. And I really like it. I think it's good.
And why? You can't just say it's good.
Yes, I can. Moving on. No, the girl, Iman Vellani, this is her acting debut.
Which is crazy.
She's from Toronto.
Yes, I did hear that.
And she is so good. Like, she's super relatable. She's got to deal with the whole coming of age with high school. I think she's like supposed to be 16 or 15, whatever in the show. Coming of age with high school and also coming into terms with her powers that she's getting in the show. No spoilers, obviously she has powers, whatever. She's got sick powers. Like, the effects for it are really cool.
It's Marvel. It cost $1 billion.
Ton of money.
So of course.
And you know what? I'll say before I get political about it, the style of the show is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like Scott Pilgrim-esque with like the comic booky nature of it, the colors.
Yeah.
They do really cool stuff with like
speed up, slow down.
Yeah, and like texting. You know,
Okay.
Texting scenes where it just be like boo-doop and
bubble.
the bubble.
Yeah.
They do really cool things with like lights lighting up behind them and like walking by signs with like the message on them. Anyways, like
I definitely prejudged it. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. I've said this before. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, but I'm glad you're watching it for me before I have to watch it, so at least I know what to look into.
It is good, and I'm really liking her like family dynamic, and it's genuinely very important to have representation in movies. Like, as a white man speaking, like legitimately,
Sure.
It is very important to have representation because young girls who are like I think she's Pakistani.
I think that's right.
Or the family is. That's what I wrote down at least. Like, little girls like who have the same heritage as her or like look like her, like they see this and they're like, oh, this is like I can relate to this.
Yeah.
Not that like they couldn't relate to like other superheroes.
Yeah.
But this is like someone that's like, oh my god, like this is like someone that I could be like this. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think you're definitely dead on with that. And I think like obviously being of a different heritage and culture and whatnot, and then the young girl aspect of that I think is huge.
Yeah.
I think that's massive. So good for Marvel, obviously. We love to see it. So good for Marvel.
And good for her too. Like Iman Vellani, like I'm really excited to watch the last few episodes because I actually am really enjoying it.
The last episode came out today, I think.
It did. And I also read that they're playing the episodes in theaters in Pakistan,
which is awesome because
that's super cool.
They like didn't have that opportunity to really showcase, So I'm really happy for them, and it's just nice to see something fresh and exciting. So
it's cool, and like culture's cool.
Yeah.
So. If people hate, then that's on them.
You get a T-shirt that say that.
Yeah, don't be a hater. Yeah. Like, it's cool.
So on that note, my series, I'm still in the Lincoln Lawyer. I didn't watch anything new this week. I stuck through it. I've watched 4 episodes this week. I am at the last episode.
Oh, we haven't finished it yet.
No, I'm at the last episode. I'll be finishing it tomorrow night. I'm very happy with the way it's played out. It's kind of nice. They didn't wait till like the last episode with like 20 minutes left to really give you
the meat.
Yeah, to really show you like the plot twist of everything.
Yeah, nice.
They gave it to me like late episode 8, I want to say. So really pumped with that. Again, I still feel like they're stuck in, is it for family? Is it for adults? Is it for teenagers? We don't know. But the story's really good. The acting's pretty good. The character Cisco, if you watch the show, you'll know. But he gets better every episode. And he had the best scene of like his character in the entire series mid episode 8. Where because he's a private investigator for the Lincoln Lawyer. So, for Mickey Haller. And he's in there and he just gives this like crazy, like 3-minute, just him talking, giving like this wild persona of him. And it really changes it up. I will spoil it once I'm done the series. But yeah, anyway. And then also I do have to mention quickly in entertainment, Tony Sirico passed away. You will know him from Paulie from The Sopranos. You've just started The Sopranos not too long ago. Yeah. I've watched it twice. I love it. So rest in peace. Hate to see you go. Just off last week, we lost James Caan. So I texted you and you said it comes in 3s. So I really hope not. So
yeah, unfortunately, that tends to happen. But man, that's so super sad. Yeah, I'm on season 2 right now of Sopranos. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's a little sad, but unfortunately, life goes on. So then, switching gears, upcoming for me. I know we'll get to your upcomings, but upcoming for me, I saw a trailer today called Day Shift.
Never heard of it.
Starring Jamie Foxx and Dave Franco and our favorite celebrity, Snoop Dogg.
Everyone's favorite celebrity.
Of course. And so Jamie Foxx is a vampire hunter. You can get this from the trailer.
Wait, one more time. Vampire hunter?
Yes, correct. He's like a vampire hitman. And that's how he earns a living. They kill the vampires. Well, they show up. They got to find them, track them down, kill them. They pull the tooth. The tooth, you bring it to like the shop. And I guess it's like age the vampire or whatever. And you get so much money based off of the vampire that you get. I was really like, what? Day Shift? Jamie Foxx? Yeah, Jamie Foxx. Who's Jamie Foxx?
He's great.
But it was actually a really intriguing trailer. Dave Franco comes into the trailer, plays like his awkward, funny, I've never been in this situation. Dave Franco plays Dave Franco.
Of course.
And hilarious, though. Like, the one-liners, I hope that they didn't give out, like, his top 5 one-liners in the trailer.
Yeah, you always worry about that.
Because they were such good one-liners, I'd be really mad if I see the movie and it's like, those were your best lines, and I saw it in the trailer. So I'll be a little disappointed. I could be wrong on this, but J.J. Perry is the director on the IMDb. Trustworthy source.
Absolutely.
So, but he was a stunt director for many films that he pretty much like any action movie you can think of. He's part of. He did tons of John Wick work, stuff like that. A bunch of Army of the Dead, and he works closely with the one who wrote this. Forgive me if I mispronounce this. Shat Hatton, who wrote for Army of the Dead, John Wick, Army of Thieves, so on and so forth. So I was pretty pumped about that. I'm looking forward to it. It is a rated R movie.
And it seems like an action.
It is an action packed by the trailer. It was just like 2.5 minutes of awesomeness. And I am not a vampire. Vampire and zombies,
who cares?
We get it. We've seen it. But this was very intriguing. Like, I was very intrigued. So that's my upcoming. And I'll let you take it away because you got a little bit to go through here.
Well, that sounds cool. I'm actually into that now.
Yeah.
I want to watch that trailer now. Before I get into what came out today, I also watched The King's Man last night. And I know we tried watching that like not long ago, but I fell asleep. Yeah, I remember I fell asleep, but it was on the TV. Anyways, like the boys, we put it on, but I think I fell asleep. Anyways, my question is, do we need more Kingsman movies?
No. We do not.
The first one was so good, obviously, no question. Mm-hmm. Second one was very solid.
It copied the first one.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, stylistically, whatever. And then this one, I was waiting for the cool scene to happen. I was waiting for the
5-minute oneer, slow motion, action-packed, bullets flying.
Yeah,
that scene.
The quippy lines, and I was waiting for some fun, and I didn't really get it.
No, because they tried taking a different direction because isn't this the prequel?
The gritty prequel.
Isn't this like the Kingsman, where it started?
Where it all done.
I guess if you drop your voice a couple octaves.
Then it's way more intense.
But yeah, no, we don't need more of these movies to answer your question because the first 2, we got it. It's done. It's over. You did a good job. Now all you're doing is you're taking like characteristics of characters. That's all you're doing now. And you're writing stories behind it, right?
Yeah, like
you're writing, so with the one eye. Well, let's write how that happened. Okay, but we know how that happened because we saw a little bit into that in the second one. So, like, I don't think we need to see more of these. I think it's over. I think it's done. Let's move on.
My big issue with this is that I felt like this script could have been anything, and then they just tagged the Kingsman name onto it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel like a Kingsman movie. It just felt like a historical kind of spy action, kind of comedy.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, and I definitely liked it, but it wasn't like great. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you're not gonna sit there and be like, oh, you know what? We need to start the Kingsman trilogy.
No,
I'm definitely not gonna say that.
I'm definitely not gonna watch it again.
Yeah, I don't think we need it, but that's that. I mean, but that's Hollywood, right? Like, that's what they're doing right now. They're making everything. They're stretching everything.
Yeah.
I guess we just have to watch. So, speaking of Hollywood, take us away.
Emmy nominations came out.
Let's go.
Emmy nominations 2022. If you guys want something to watch, we're going to name a couple things. Things I'll say before we get into it, they got a lot of love. Shows that got a ton of love. Succession.
Of course.
Which I'm all caught up on. Absolutely love Succession.
I'm mid-season 2.
Squid Game got a lot of love. A lot of actors that I didn't write further down here because I wouldn't be able to pronounce their names if I tried.
That's fair.
But I did really like Squid Game.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
And it had good payoff.
Yeah.
It was interesting. You cannot deny the cultural phenomenon that Squid Game had.
Oh, no.
You can't deny it.
No, but I can deny that I don't think it should be revived for a season 2.
I mean, if you got an idea, go for it. But that doesn't mean it's going to be good. You know what I mean? We'll see if it's good.
Back to what we just said about Hollywood.
Exactly.
Keep things going, but go ahead.
Euphoria got a lot of love.
I've not seen it.
Haven't seen it because I'm not a high school girl. But I do hear it's good.
Did you just stereotype of the entire genre?
The entire fan base. They're all female girls. High school girls. Ozark.
Very good.
Jason Bateman. I have not seen the new season yet, but
you've seen the others?
I've seen definitely the first 2. This is season 4. I don't know if I've seen season 3.
Oh, man.
Let's go back because I think I watched season 2 when it came out.
Yep.
But I don't think I watched season 3, and now season 4 is out. I'll catch up. I don't really like Jason Bateman. We'll get to that later. But Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso also got a bunch of love. I haven't seen that because it's on Apple, and I'm not an Apple fanboy, even though I'm using an iPad right now.
Haven't seen it either because I'm not paying for another subscription that only has one show that I want to watch. But there's a few other shows that are Apple exclusives, so maybe that'll change our ways.
So I'll just bang through them if you got anything to add. Drama series. There are other nominations other than the ones that I'm going to say, but these are just ones that I noted. Drama series, Ozark's in there, Squid Game. Squid Game and drama series kind of crazy. Stranger Things, Succession.
Yeah, you can't put those up. Go ahead with the last one.
That's it.
Yeah, you can't put... That's right. You can't put Squid Games and Stranger Things in a drama category against Ozarks and Succession.
Yeah, they seem different, right?
Like, those, I just don't think... Like, I think Stranger Things should be in, like... I guess there's not it's fictional.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Ozarks or Succession is going to win that. I'm confident saying that. If Squid Games wins that, I'd be absolutely blown out of the water.
I do like that it got some love, though. It got some noms. Like, that's neat. Comedy series, Barry, which we just watched season 1 of Barry. Loved it. Like, season 3, this is for season 3. Curb is in there. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb's still going on, eh?
Yeah, I thought that the last season came out. This might be the last season getting nominated.
Said that 2 years ago or something. Yeah,
but I've seen all of Curb except for the last season because I'm trying to I was waiting for it to all come out and I just haven't seen it since it all came out. And Ted Lasso's in there.
We haven't seen Ted Lasso, but if I had to choose between Curb and Barry, based off pure comedy, I've only seen the first 3 seasons of Curb. Curb is pure comedy, but as far as like story integration with comedy, Barry takes the cake.
Yeah. Barry's nuts.
That's just a whole... Barry is like its own genre.
Yeah.
That's its
Barry's
own thing, so.
Dark comedy, yeah. For dramatic actor,
yep.
For like actor in a drama series, Jason Bateman, who I'll comment on now.
Okay.
Good actor.
Great actor.
Sure, great actor. Always plays Jason Bateman and always seems like a dick. In every performance he has, and in every interview and every real life situation, he never seems
Jason Bateman.
like he's happy to be anywhere.
Yeah.
He's always just like, I'm Jason Bateman. Oh, get out of my face. Like, what are you, stupid? I'm Jason Bateman.
So I agree with you because I was the same way. I was the exact same way before Ozarks came out. I was like, Jason Bateman is Jason Bateman. I've seen every Jason Bateman and I've only seen one movie. But Ozark gives this super dark, twisted, psycho... It's just like, it gives such a whole different character to Jason Bateman. And the fact that he can still play his Jason Bateman, I don't know what's going on type thing.
Yeah.
But with like a dark...
Like hanging on by a thread.
Yeah,
but
drug lord. Like the
sociopathic.
Yeah, the fact that he can do that, I think really shows. And, if I'm not mistaken, he executive produces, and I do believe he is considered a director on some early episodes. I don't know about the last 2 seasons, cool. But I know season 1 and 2 he had some directing and producing credits.
That's neat. Like, no, because he's definitely talented. He's a great actor. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, he doesn't draw me to the screen.
Yeah.
But good for him. Like, obviously, this is like the show of his career.
Sure.
Like, it's super impressive.
But again, Brian Cox is
in Succession.
Yeah, for drama, as like, again, pure drama. Like, Succession is just all drama. Like, I haven't seen this season, but if I'm basing everything off that, it's just because like Ozarks and all those other ones that we mentioned, they have drama, but they have some action. They have a little bit of comedy mixed in there. Blah blah blah. Succession has some funny moments because of the characters that are in there.
Succession is comedic, but there's not a lot of jokes. You know what I mean?
No, it's just because of the characters and what they're doing and what they're talking about and how they present themselves is funny. But like I think Brian Cox walks away with that with no question.
But Kendall, Jeremy Strong from Succession is also nominated, and his season of Succession,
this season,
he has a lot to do in season 3.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it, so I can't say that. But I'm basing off last season, so I'll give it to Brian. But I have to take your word for it.
Yeah, and then the other one that I have written down there is Lee Jung-jae, the main character from Squid Game. He got nominated. That's pretty cool. He had a really good performance. Like, all the tears, the freaking out. That's where the language barrier comes in. Obviously, I don't speak Korean.
Really? This whole time?
Surprisingly. You may think I do, but I don't. And so, I lose some of it. That doesn't mean that his performance loses anything, but I lose something watching it, so I can't really comment on exactly how good it was, but he drew me in. Like, I liked every episode of Squid Game.
And I think that says something to him because I didn't watch it with dub, I watched it with subtitles.
Love it, yeah.
So I think that says more to him is that I didn't hear him, like I didn't understand him, and he was still able to kind of give me that emotion. Yeah, it didn't necessarily captivate me, but he definitely got me connected. So like, I do think that says something about his performance.
I definitely wanted to see that man succeed.
Yes, for sure. So good for him.
Yeah, definitely. Dramatic series. Sorry, I wrote these weird. Lead actress in a drama. The only one I noted there was Zendaya.
For Euphoria?
For Euphoria, yeah. Kind of interesting.
Again, haven't seen it, so can't comment. Good for Zendaya. I mean, hopefully she's not as overrated in this as she was in Dune.
Dune? She just didn't do anything in Dune.
Oh, man. She's amazing. I watched the whole movie, and she's in like 5 minutes of it.
And she said Paul like 18 times. That's about it.
I love Zendaya. Not a Zendaya hater.
No.
But don't say things that aren't true.
I want to watch 3 hours of Denis Villeneuve directed Zendaya.
That's right.
I don't want 2 scenes of Zendaya.
Right. Don't tell me she's a lead
in this film when she's in 2 scenes. So, anyways.
Good for her for Euphoria. There's a couple actors in there that I think got their real, their star of a series. So good for them.
Bill Hader is up for comedic actor for Barry.
No other notable names in there?
Well, the Ted Lasso guy, unfortunately, I forget his name. Sorry.
Oh, man. It's right here.
I should have written it down. Anyways, continue, keep moving.
Anyway.
Supporting actress, continue so nobody gets mad at us. Supporting actress in a drama, Shiv, Sarah Snook.
That's hard to deny, yeah.
And J. Smith Cameron, Jerry. Jerry's not. She has a lot to do in this season too.
Which I'm glad, because she's a sneaky character.
She's awesome.
Because season 1 and 2, you're like, Jerry's important. The family trusts her. She's inside the realm. She knows she's in the circle. She got everything, but she doesn't do much with it. So I'm hoping, by the sounds of it.
If you're taking anything out of this, you should watch Succession. If you're listening. Supporting actor in a drama series, Greg.
Yes.
From Succession.
Yes.
Nicholas Braun. Kieran Culkin, Roman.
Okay.
From Succession.
Wow.
And
Succession crew.
This is my standout, because if you watch season 3, Matthew McFadyen as Tom, he's my favorite character in that show, because he has the best arc, you can see the gears turning in his head. Like, that's how good Matthew McFadyen is at playing this character. Like, you see him make decisions. You know what I mean? Like, before he does it, and you can tell why he makes the decisions that he makes.
Which is good, because I think in the first season, for sure the first season, he plays a little bit of a doofus.
Yes, totally.
Like, he's just the whole thing. Yeah, so when you're saying his arc, I'm glad that's like that, because good for him. And then Tom, too. That's Greg.
Greg.
Because, again, Greg's just Greg's just an idiot.
Cousin Greg.
He's just an idiot. I already ate. Well, we just came out for dinner. It's like...
Okay, well, I guess I'll go home.
He just does weird things. But good for him. I'm glad for the Succession crew. Is there a season 4 Succession announced?
No, but there is gonna be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, maybe there has been, but I haven't heard any dates or anything like that.
So good for that. That was drama support actor.
Yes. No. Yes. Drama supporting actor. Limited series. This one got a lot of love, and I thought it was really interesting because I saw a bunch of trailers for it, but I never ended up watching it. Pam and Tommy, which is based off of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, the drummer from Motley Crue. They're like their sex tape. That's up for best limited series, and Sebastian Stan is up for best lead actor in a limited series, and Lily James is up for best lead actress in a limited series, and Seth Rogen is up for best supporting actor in a limited series, all for this role. That's a lot of love. Like,
that's a lot.
That makes me want to watch this series.
Yeah, I definitely have to. It's definitely on the list, I do believe, because I saw a lot of trailers for it. I have a question though.
Yeah, hit me.
Do you think that lead actor or actress should be different than lead actor and actress in a limited series compared to like a drama series? Because like I haven't seen it, the Pam and Tommy. I haven't seen it, but do those just because it's a limited series, it's not considered a comedy drama or anything else?
Maybe because
it's only like 8 episodes or something?
Yeah, or 6 or something like that. Maybe because they have to show their arc, their character arc, their decision making, whatever. They have to like display their character over like a shorter amount of time.
Sure, they got to do it.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But especially because it's like this show's not coming back. I also something else that I'm just remembering this off the top of my head, but Henry Winkler is up for best comedic supporting actor also.
Thank God.
Yeah,
we need to protect that man at all costs.
He always deserves to be. He's amazing in Barry.
He needs to be protected.
Sorry, I just thought about that. But like characters like that, like in Barry or in Succession, you get to see them like progress. Yeah. So you kind of like get to know their character. But like in a limited series, I guess they have to make their impact a bit quicker.
Yeah, so I guess the better question then is, where's the line? Yeah. Is it if it's a 10 episode limited series, where's that line compared to if it's a 5-6 episode
and
limited
what if
series?
You win for limited series and then you're like, let's do another season? It's like, whoa, give me the Emmy back.
Yeah.
Give me the Emmy back.
Give me the sandpaper and take your name off of it and start filing it down.
Your name's getting off that.
Good for the Emmys though.
Oh wait, I got one more.
Who's this?
This one I really wanted to give a shout out to because it was my favorite thing I watched this year. Variety special, pre-recorded. Norm Macdonald's final stand-up special, Nothing Special, got nominated. Rest in peace, my favorite comedian ever.
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about it. You've told me some good things about it as well. I think, and I don't want to mean like he wins this just because of the unfortunate circumstances. But I haven't seen what else. I don't know what else is in that category right now.
There's a Dave Chappelle special in there, and there is some other stuff that was fantastic. But
just give it to Norm.
I just think it's just cool to see him up there, and he doesn't need it. Norm wouldn't care about stuff like this.
No, you're right, but I think that'd be a really cool send off, just because most people had no idea what was going on with Norm.
Yeah,
he kept things very quiet. And not many people got a chance to give him a send-off, say their goodbyes, like as fans, as in general, right? Not a lot of people got, this is Norm's last movie. That's happened with a couple people, right? Like Chadwick, right? That happened with him. So I just kind of hope that we give it to him just because I think that'd be a great thank you for your service. Thank you for all the laughs you've given us, and thank you for all the shows, movies, and everything you've done. So
I hope so, too.
Yeah. So I think that is entertainment.
Yep.
And how are we doing on time here?
Good. I say we hit the headlines and we close it up.
Yeah, sure. Let's hit the headlines. So I have 2 quick ones. I liked yours. I pre-read yours, so I want you to close this off.
You pre-read mine?
I did pre-read yours. I cheated. But I just saw because I was struggling today to find a good one. Okay. Because my Toyota one last time was really good. That's funny. And I was really mad that I couldn't match it. So just 2 little quick ones. I'll start off with the more boring one. So Netflix. They have partnered with Microsoft. Dun, dun, dun.
No.
So they've partnered with Microsoft, and Microsoft will help support the new ad-based subscription plan. That's why they have partnered with. Now, the Netflix CEO has said, Reed Hastings has said, he's been against having ads this whole time. He's never wanted it, hasn't considered it. But now it makes the most sense to help offer cheaper plans to subscribers and bring in new subscribers. AKA, our company's going down and we need to do something about it. So Microsoft also, I didn't know this, they have no ties with other streaming services at the moment.
Yeah.
Amazon's independent. Crave is partnered already with, I can't remember who, but they are not partnered with anything. And then drop this bomb. It says their Netflix shares have dropped 70% year to date.
Wow.
So that's crazy. And we already heard all the headlines a couple months ago
about them dropping.
Yeah. And then this is my kind of weird one.
Wait. Let me comment on that quick.
Go ahead.
I did read something on that. And, Netflix now, the only payment that Netflix has to make towards Microsoft is they have to do an 8-episode miniseries on Bill Gates' life.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, starring actual Bill Gates.
We'd all watch that, actually.
Yeah.
They did movies on Steve Jobs.
Really?
We need one.
We need
one on Bill Gates, goddamn.
We need a Bill Gates movie. Starring Ashton Kutcher.
Right now. See where he plays better.
Ashton Kutcher. Get it on there. Let's see your other one.
The other one really quickly, in a town called Colorado. Colorado, in the state of Colorado, in a small town, Aurora. Ice cream trucks have had a ban on them since 1957.
A ban on ice cream trucks?
And I'm saying the ban was originally implemented because it deemed the trucks to be a community, quote-unquote, nuisance. Could you imagine being so angry at life? You're just like,
God damn it, I don't want any ice cream.
Cool what? Little jingle and kids running after it and getting ice cream.
Shut the hell up.
No more. So anyway, they banned it. But obviously, it's one of those bans that it's like there was still ice cream trucks obviously in circulation, but they were never operating with legal businesses license.
Wow, interesting.
It's kind of interesting. They were registered as a business, but not able to do what ice cream trucks do, but they were still doing it. So they awarded today the first legal ice cream truck license. And then the quote from the mayor is hilarious. It says, "It's a great day for the people of Aurora." God bless America.
That's the best quote you could get.
That was the quote.
That's his best quote.
It was like, oh yeah, we've all kind of looked at each other in the room when we were going through these laws, and we were all kind of collectively say, what? And then they were like, yeah, so we decided to change it on paper, give out the first licenses. It's a great day. It's a great day.
God bless the people of Aurora.
So anyway, that's my two quick ones. I love yours, so take it away.
Well, this is my headline for the week. I read this. I thought this was hilarious because we've talked about Subway before.
Yeah.
And our opinions of Subway, which we will give.
Yes.
But first, I'll just give this little story. A judge ruled on July 7th that Subway can be sued over stating that its tuna is 100% tuna. So someone can sue them for that statement.
And just for context, this came out a while ago, but we didn't actually know there'd be like legal ramifications of this. So just for context, this came out a bit ago, but the lawsuit is what's new.
Yeah, so these claims were brought forth in court January 2021, very serious. And the accusation was made that Subway's tuna sandwiches, quote, this is a goddamn quote, partially or wholly lacked tuna as an ingredient. And Subway says, no truth to this. And they went so far, this is the saddest thing I've ever heard a company do. Subway went so far as to create a website called, the name of the website is subwaytunafacts.com. Which sounds like a website from like iCarly.
Yeah.
Subwaytunafacts.com. And on the site, it states that tuna from Subway is real, wild-caught, skipjack tuna. And you can suck my nuts if you think anything different. Because this tuna is real. And basically, they say it's approved by the FDA that if you
bullshit.
You can test our tuna if you want. The site also made claims, and this is how I know that they're talking out of their ass. Because on the website, it also says that tuna is a fan favorite sandwich from Subway.
Who?
And I know they're lying.
Who? Tell me who. Who walks in there on a weekly basis and goes,
I'll get a tuna.
Give me that tuna on flatbread.
Who goes in and smells Subway tuna sandwich and thinks this is a great idea?
Oh, man.
I want to be on the toilet the next 6 to 8 hours of my life.
Could you this would be crazy. So if this actually goes into like a court system, which clearly it is, it's going to go into a court system. I hope whatever court happens is televised. That's all I'm saying. I hope if they're going to televise Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they better televise the people versus tuna.
Tuna-gate.
They better.
Need Tuna-gate.
This is ridiculous. If I will be so mad if it was handled behind closed doors.
There was a settlement paid to the woman of millions of dollars. I don't care about her. I don't care about how much money she's getting because of the tuna. I want to know what is in the tuna sandwich.
How many people have you scammed out of a real tuna sandwich? And you know what you need to do? You need to refund all those make me a new tuna sandwich.
You want the tuna? You can't handle the tuna.
Oh, God. That's such a bad...
We should eat tuna sandwiches on the podcast.
That is so bad.
We should definitely eat tuna sandwiches next week.
All right. We'll just have them sitting right here.
That's so funny. Real quick, I think we should close it up.
Yeah, let's...
But what do you think of Subway? Well, I want your thoughts real quick. Because I know your take, but I just want, like, the basis of it.
It's the McDonald's of sandwiches.
Okay.
Nothing against McDonald's. But you go to McDonald's when you're in a rush, when you want something quick, greasy. It's just going to hit the spot right away. You're going to feel it a little bit later. And price for quality lines up pretty well. If you're going to go to Mr. Sub, Firehouse Subs, Quiznos, any independent deli, shout out to the locals that make a great club sandwich or that make a great cold cut. It puts Subway to shame on so many levels. Like, you can't eat, like, the fresh ingredients, bullshit. You go to any fresh spot and that sandwich you will take 10 out of 10 times against any Subway sandwich. Not saying that I don't go to Subway every now and then. We have been to Subway.
Yeah.
When we get coupons in the mail.
Who sends us that?
But that's why.
Subway's mad.
That's why I go to Subways when we get the coupons.
Okay, my question, though, is, like, if you're on a road trip and you're in the car and you drive by it, you're thinking, I'm going to get food soon, and you drive by a Subway, is that one that goes through your head that you might get? No.
Because if I'm on a road trip, too, and I'm in the car, here's the other thing. That's a two-hand job.
Oh, it's a two-hand job. You're not driving.
I'm not driving.
No, you're not driving.
See, if I'm not driving, that's different. But then, that's a lap. Like, I got to have a napkin. I got to have, like, there's sauce in there. There's shredded lettuce coming out of spots. There's tomato falling, maybe. Or if you're going crazy and you're going to get, like, a pizza sub or a meatball sub, no judge.
I judge meatballs. Don't get a meat. Do you get meatball subs?
I really got to be in the mood. Like, I got to walk in there and be like, goddamn, today's the day that I tackle a meatball sandwich.
I support, my take on Subway is simple. I support Subway. Like, I think they have good subs. But if you think that you're going to get a good meatball sub from a Subway, you have something wrong in your head. Because that's not what Subway's for.
False expectations.
Subway's for a BLT with mayo. It's for, like, I get the sweet onion chicken teriyaki. Something simple.
You still go with the chicken, though.
I still get the chicken. And
is that real chicken?
Absolutely not. It does not taste like chicken.
It comes in that little cardboard box, eh? They flip it onto the sandwich.
So one time I had that, and they flipped the sandwich with the box?
Yeah.
He left the box in it.
No.
I ate it. It tasted the exact same. Exact same.
Well, that's our take on Subway. Listen, there's other betters. If you only been to Subway,
go somewhere
explore.
else.
Live your life.
You're a loser if you've never been to Subway.
And yeah, let us know what you think about Subway or anything we talked about in this last hour, 45 minutes.
If you're someone who's actually had a tuna sub from Subway, I need to know.
They're dead.
You're not alive.
They're dead.
That's what it is.
There you go.
It's a fan favorite. They all just die when they eat it.
No one's there to complain. So this one person
the only survivor
bought it and got it tested. Didn't eat it.
Yes.
They didn't eat it.
They bought the sandwich and then they thought, this is not real.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our take on Subway and a bunch of other stuff that we talked about. Let us know what you guys think
if you want
down in the comments.
Yeah, if you want to watch any of the shows we watch or you do watch anything, you have recommendations, Send that our way, because we're all about, as much as we talk about sports for like a whole hour of this, we're all about the entertainment stuff. If you have any takes on our sports conversations, let us know. People you like, people you dislike, takes we have that you like, that you don't like.
Or hot takes. Let us know a crazy hot take, anything like that. So also don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you on episode 3.
Yep, exactly. We'll see you then on the CORNERMEN podcast.
There you go.
See you later. Thanks for the help. God
Subway
bless.
sucks.
Subway sucks.